In the top stories, police plan to step up their presence in schools, Barbados to host the next Caricom Heads of Government Conference, and Australia win the first test against West Indies in just 3 days. Welcome to Nation News for Friday, June 5th, 2015. I'm Natasha Beckles. We begin with the news that Barbados will host the 36th Caricom Heads of Government Conference from July 2nd to 4th this year. This is the first time in 8 years that the island will host the high-level meeting. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Maxine McLean, revealed that a number of distinguished guests will be in the island for the event. They include United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, President of Panama Juan Carlos Varela, and outgoing Commonwealth Secretary General Kamalesh Sharma. Speaking during a press conference on Friday, Senator McLean said regional prime ministers will be taking a number of critical decisions on the CARICOM single market and economy, as well as CARICOM's position in several international negotiations. Assistant Commissioner of Police Erwin Boyce says the force will be working more closely with schools. He says this is in response to increasingly frequent reports of bullying and fighting among school children.
We recognize the need for more school resource officers and for a more sustainable program. We believe that it makes sense from a deployment point of view to have our officers related to schools on a continuous basis rather than sending patrol officers in school whenever there is a need. And that need seems to be more often than not in recent times. The model of a school resource officer that we envisage point to an engagement in 3 kinds of activity: law enforcement, teaching, and mentoring. Given the demands of the school, we are focusing on the development of a balanced approach. We see the benefits of such sustained program, noting that the overarching aim is to maintain a safe school environment and improve the image of the police among the youngsters.
Mr. Boyce was speaking on Thursday during a graduation ceremony for students of George Lamin and Hilltop Primary Schools who participated in the Force's drug education program known as DARE. Also speaking during the event was Acting Station Sergeant Roland Cobbler, who expressed concern about drug use among the island's youth. He said the resulting antisocial behavior can threaten the stability of society. He called on parents to pay closer attention to their children.
In this fight against drugs, there must be a holistic approach. In addition to education and detection by law enforcement officers, you, the parents, have a responsibility to ensure that you effectively monitor your children. It is critical that you know of their friends, the places they go, and the company they keep. Visit their schools. Have dialogue with their teachers in relation to their behavior and their performance.
The sargassum seaweed blanketing Barbados' east and south coast is clearly too much to be moved manually. However, one expert says mechanical removal has to be done correctly or it could have adverse effects on the beaches. Acting Deputy Director of the Coastal Zone Management Unit, Fabian Hines, says the use of heavy equipment could remove too much sand. He made the comments while touring some of the island's beaches on Friday as part of World Environmental Day activities. Mr. Hines noted that the influx could lead to overfishing since some species follow the seaweed.
It's bad for 2 reasons. One, we know that from reports in the media with the vessels, the engines, etc., it has been a problem. But 2, and I think most importantly, it has been reported. I remember there was a couple of years ago, one fisherman reported he caught over 1,000 dolphins. And he only stopped because his boat couldn't hold anymore. And when you examine the dolphin, they were juveniles. So that speaks to an unsustainable practice in fishery, where you're actually over-harvesting at the juvenile stage. So those juveniles are not being afforded an opportunity to reproduce and hence ensure that the population structure and size persists into the future.
How well would you say your education prepared you for the world of work? This is the question the Ministry of Education will be asking 1,000 recent graduates from secondary schools and select tertiary institutions. It is part of the Graduate Tracer Survey, which will be used to ensure that educational programs are meeting the needs of the labor market. The survey will be conducted in 3 stages over an 18-month period by Carey consultants from Trinidad. Chairman of Carey, Dr. Ralph Henry, said the information gathered could reduce graduates' frustration when they're seeking jobs and help to stem brain drain. Police are still on the hunt for the man who stabbed and robbed one of their own last week. Ryan Coppin received several stab wounds when he was attacked last Thursday night while walking through James Street, the city. He had just left work at police headquarters. Acting Assistant Superintendent David Welch says he's out of hospital and doing well. In sport, Australia have drawn first blood in the 2-test series against West Indies. Playing at Warner Park in Dominica, they bowled out the regional side for 218 in their second innings. The Aussies therefore had to make just 47 to win the match. As usual, a full report of the day's play will be available on our website. And finally, Miss Piggy will be recognized for her contributions to society with a Feminist Award at the Brooklyn Museum in New York on Thursday. The glamorous, outspoken Muppet will receive the award from the Elizabeth A. Sackler Center for Feminist Art. Ms. Sackler says Miss Piggy embodies exceptional spirit, determination, and grit, and has taught important lessons about overcoming obstacles to generations of fans. Of course, the pig's longtime squeeze, Kermit the Frog, will be in the audience for the ceremony. And that's Nation News for Friday. For more, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember to pick up your papers over the weekend or subscribe to our e-paper. And look out for your crop over news in the Weekend Buzz a little later. Thank you so much for joining us.